Render unto Caesar that which belongs to Caesar. My name is Jacques Taljaard, this is Practitioner Accounting Services, and it feels great to be back in the office recording a video for my YouTube channel. Now today's video is simply a quick one. How are you going to get a tax refund? So if you're new to my channel, welcome. You will find videos such as this, as well as general comments, tips and advice on accounting and tax, especially for individuals and businesses within the South African environment. So how do you get a tax return? There's actually only one way. That is that you pay more tax during the year than you are supposed to. So in general, it usually works like this, that your PAYE gets deducted from your income, from your salary on a monthly basis by your employer, and then paid over to SARS. At the end of the year, you submit your income tax return, the IT12 or IT14 for companies, and then SARS gives you a tax assessment, the ITA34. Now, when you receive your tax assessment, there is an amount of tax due. That will also take into consideration then the amount of tax that you have already paid, and if you have paid more tax than the amount due, then, or the amount payable, then literally you'll get a refund. If you haven't paid enough tax, then you'll have to pay in, right? So that is the only way you can get a tax refund, is if you pay in too much tax during the year than you're supposed to. So the term tax refund is usually just referred to when SARS pays you back, but it's SARS pays you back, right? It means literally you have paid too much. Now, how do you get that kind of a tax refund situation? Well, firstly, your PAYE gets deducted by your employer and paid over to SARS. But if you have tax allowable deductions, then your employer is not taking those into consideration when they are calculating your PAYE. The very simple scenario is things such as a medical aid. If your employer doesn't have a medical aid, you're on your own. Retirement annuity contributions. Section 18A, non-profit organization donations. So there's a couple of those things that are allowed to be deducted that your employer might not take into consideration, right? So once you have submitted, once your employer has submitted your RP5 declaration through to SARS, they have a copy of your RP5, and then they would also have the PAYE that's been paid to SARS, right? So then you calculate your income tax return, you add your retirement annuity contributions, you add your medical aid contributions, you add your medical aid expenses claims, your additional expenses claims, rebates, you add your section 18A deductions and a couple of others that might be applicable to you, and in those cases then, depending on the situation, those items usually reduce either the amount of tax, the amount of taxable income on which your tax is calculated, or physically, in the case of the medical aid tax credit or other tax credits, the actual amount of tax that you have to pay. So those deductions will then reduce the amount. Now, if your final tax assessment, that after you've submitted your IT12 to SARS, they will send you your ITA34, which is your tax assessment, and on that document will be the final amount that you will have to pay in tax for the year. Now, that will be the tax amount, right? The tax due, basically. Then you've already paid, every month you've paid through PAYE, so that will then deduct your PAYE from that amount, and if your PAYE was more than that amount, you've essentially paid more tax than you were supposed to, and then that balance will be your tax refund. Now, usually when you get tax refunds, I found lately that you will be either selected for verification or audit, especially if it's a larger amount, but it has also happened quite frequently that a small tax refund, anything between 500 Rand and a couple of thousand, gets paid off relatively quickly. So once your assessments and all of that's been verified where necessary, or audited where necessary, where applicable, or the assessment has just not been selected and just paid out or sent out, in those cases, quite often we find that tax refund is usually paid with or refunded within a week. And that is how you get your tax refund. My name is Jacques Taljaard. This is Practitioner Accounting Services, and welcome back. Have a great weekend.